and bang. What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to the Fight Scene Podcast, and what an episode we have for you today. If you're tuning in here on the recording afterwards, hello, and we'll give it a second for some live viewers to tune in. But wow, do we have a special beginning to this episode? Let me tell you that much.
Of course, I make my return on the beer episode.
Yeah, exactly. That's the best time to return. So we'll give it a second or two for the boys.
Dude, I need some Fiasco Superstar in the background.
If you are what you say you are. Okay, Christopher Forbes is in.
I thought he couldn't watch.
He probably had to join in for the beginning part. Yeah, he knew he had to get in. Yeah.
Oh my god. Oh, that's disgusting.
Nice.
All right, Dudley MMA is in, my boy Dudley. Well, let me tell you, this is not a normal podcast we got here. We might as well just get into it, boys. What we have for you today is Robbie and Cam are ripping their FPL forfeits, which means that they have to down a liter of beer in 3 minutes. We got the timer ready here. It's an interesting start to the podcast. The Vast Voyage, how's it? Welcome to the show. Good to see you here. Are you gentlemen ready?
But are we?
Okay.
Are you ready, boys? When you're ready, I'll put the timer on and let you know how you go.
This is our game plan, bro. We're gonna lock in on this. We're gonna make it clean. We're gonna make it easy. Okay. We're not stressing here. Okay.
You guys understand? You have 2 glasses, huh?
2 glasses, yeah, of course, bro.
I'm running a 3, so.
Shit. Okay. You're middle, fat. Okay.
Okay, you ready? Are you ready? Okay. 3, 2, 1. Timer's on, boys. Let's see if you can get it done. This is not your classic podcast. Of course, later on in the pod, once this is done, we're going to talk about Strickland versus Hernandez and just UFC Houston in general. We got Jeff Neal against Uros Medic. We got Dan Ige against Mokuzio Costa and many, many more. Robbie, you're not looking too stoked straight off the bat.
This isn't going to happen.
You have 3.
This is why you need to tune into the Fight Scene Podcast, ladies and gentlemen. It's just fantastic things like this happen. Twas one down.
Actually watched.
Oh, wow.
Robbie, I'm a snake, bro.
2:15 to go.
Yo, because it's like 9 p.m. for you.
All right.
And it is currently 12 p.m.
Check
for
the sun
Robbie.
up there, man.
All right. Yeah, so what's the time on that?
You got 2 minutes. You're a minute down.
All right.
Robbie's not going to make it. Margot Momberg is in here. Fave podcast. Appreciate you.
Nice. Thank you, Margot.
Come on, Robbie. Almost one down there, boy. Come on,
It just ain't happening.
Come on, son.
I'm gonna be real.
Okay.
See how far you can get.
Before I what?
Well, you a bitch, bro.
Sure.
Straight bitch, man. Come on, lock the fuck in, dude. Oh my god.
Oh, there we go.
Whoo,
You got a minute 25 to go. Robbie ain't gonna make it. Ain't no way. Robbie, why you take it intermission there? Let's hear your thoughts on Strickland versus Hernandez. Toy, is that you done?
That's done, man.
Bang.
Lightweight, easy. Listen here, Bester. Strickland versus Hernandez. What a fight do we have on our hands here? Okay,
Break it down for me, Toy. Break it down.
Dude, we have our standard little fucking Sean Strickland pressure boxer, bro. Bitch shit, you know he's gonna be dropping all time, bro. Jab and teep. Jab, and then teep, bro. You know that's what we're expecting to see this whole time.
Your foot that just came up on the screen.
Let's call it teep. Come on, man. Let's call it teep.
Demonstrate the screen.
Then we have Anthony Hernandez. Honestly, on a massive win streak right now. I think it's 8 fights, if I'm not wrong. So, oh, pardon me. What I mean, Anthony Hernandez, bro, is just going to be looking for a little bit of chain fencing, wrestling, bro. He's going to be looking to put it on Strickland. He's going to be looking to get him down. But what makes this matchup interesting is Sean Strickland's resilience to getting taken down versus Anthony Hernandez, who's going to be looking for it the whole night. That's what he's going to be doing. That's my thoughts. Yeah.
Time is up, buddy. Time is up.
Yeah.
Robbie's failed. Robbie has failed. Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
You failed, you forfeit, bro.
Folks, I'm sorry. There was just like, I didn't want to say it, but I knew it already.
You knew it. Well, you better get that beer down before you leave the stream. We got a comment here from Daddy MMA who says,
you can just beer and chat quick.
Hernandez 4-5 sub. Now, let me tell you something, boys. Dadley MMA is one of the best UFC bettors I have ever seen. This guy knows what he's talking about, genuinely. And if he's talking Hernandez round 4 or 5 sub, I'm thinking that is something to be looking at. And on contrary to that, we've got the Vast Voyage talking about Strickland by decision.
I agree.
Now, you agree, Robbie. Let me hear why you agree on
Strickland has only ever lost to the GOAT in his last 5 fights. Like, realistically, Strickland actually... He beats pretty much all these middleweights. Like, he somehow just does it. Like, it's boring and it's decision every time.
He feels too good.
But, like, I don't know. I feel like Fluffy is very good, but maybe I think this fight could be his, like, almost his ceiling. Like, you know, when he's found his level, that's like his max. I think it could be interesting. But, yeah, I think I kind of lean towards Strickland, to be honest.
Strickland decision, I can't agree with that. You know, like, I get the opinion and it's valid. I mean, if you look at Strickland's wins, he's beaten majority of the top 5 in that division, except for obviously the GOAT Dricus du Plessis. But Fluffy, I mean, he has got a gas tank for days. He can go as long as he needs. He absolutely just like drowned Roman Dolidze in his last fight and got that submission. I think he's going to have a bit too much for Strickland, but you know, as you say, Robbie, Strickland, he's that guy. You know, boring decision. He just finds a way.
He gets it done. Like. But wait, there was this one Anthony Hernandez result that I wasn't too. Oh yeah, he has been KO'd by Kevin Holland before. We can't forget.
But it's Kevin Holland, dude. It's Kevin Holland.
If there's someone who could pull off a flash KO or a weird win, it's probably Kevin Holland, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's true. But I remember I just saw the clip like loading into this week. I was like, is this the guy that everyone talks about? Like,
but also Robbie, that was a long time ago.
I mean, it was 2020, yeah. 8-fight win streak now. You know, I don't think you can hold that loss too much against him at this point in time. You said 2020, that's 6 years. That's crazy, bro. A lot can change in that time. But personally, a different weight class, to be honest.
Do you guys think that this will be an interesting fight? I'm kind of leaning towards it's going to be a bit of a snoozer. Hey, you got obviously like Strickland, who's kind of built for the snoozer archetype. You know what I mean? Like, you know, you're going to be like, all right. And then it's also a bit of maybe a pressure wrestler sometimes securing that sub.
To be fair, Fluffy goes on the front foot, right?
Oh my god!
Sorry, yeah, probably.
So probably. I mean, and when Dricus went on the front foot, obviously Strickland always, no matter what, tries to like walk you down. So every time he faces someone that walks him back down, it is good. Like the Dricus Strickland fights were good just because like they fucking lock in against each other. But when they both walk into each other, then they just have to bang.
I don't know, like I don't know if it's gonna be a very exciting fight, like you say. It's sort of destined to be a bit of a sleeper just because of the styles. But you know, Fluffy could push the pace. He could bring the fight to Sean, which is kind of what Dricus did. And yeah, it's hard to finish Sean, absolutely. But Dricus, you know, beat the shit out of Strickland a little bit. So in the second fight, yeah. So you know, you could see Fluffy, you know, sort of try to bring that fight towards him.
That first,
we don't talk about the first one.
That 50-45 by Dricus is probably the best 50-45 I've ever seen. Just want to let you guys know. That's my personal opinion on that. But yeah, and then we may as well talk about. Do you want to cover the whole card first before we talk into like future fights that we see after results play out, or do you want to do it now, best?
Well, I don't know. I feel like we can only talk about future fights once we see the result on next week's podcast. That's when we can talk about what's next. In the co-main, it's a bit of an interesting card because the co-main, we've got Jeff Neal against Uros Medic, which is a weird co-main. You know, Uros Medic, though, this guy's got hands. Jeff Neal, hands of steel.
Yeah,
but
I was
he's
about
old.
to say, isn't that
Yeah.
doesn't he have a nickname with be the best?
So Jeff Neal is past his prime. Like, he obviously got knocked out with that spinning elbow from Carlos Prates. And Uros Medic is known for having some pretty big power. I don't know. It's a weird fight. I'm pretty sure Medic is the underdog on the line right now, which is interesting to me. I wouldn't really back Jeff Neal to win this fight. There you go. You got the Blue Sage coming in with Uros Medic KO, and that's something that I think I've got to agree on.
The one thing about these gatekeepers is there's a reason they don't get cut is because they have a win every now and then. Jeff Neal, his win is probably coming soon, and it's always against one of these upcomers coming up, and these guys, Neil Magny's, the Kevin Hollands, they pull off this weird KO against this up-and-coming favorite, and that's how they stay there. But we'll have to see. It will be a weird one.
Yeah, well, you know what?
To end by KO cycle leg. Sorry to cut you off there, Toy. Fight ending by KO with the cycle parlay for Daly. I could see a fighting by KO. You got two heavy hitters who could both be put up. But yes, Toy, drop your knowledge on me, son.
I was definitely about to say that both fighters are capable of getting that knockout. You know, hands of steel for a reason. I think that, you know, you guys have both brought up some very valid points in that Jeff Neal could pull this off. It could be one of those ones where, like, and it wouldn't be that outrageous. We'd be like, wow, okay, we pulled off the knockout, but we'd be like, okay, I've seen him do it before.
But yeah, you're not exactly, when Jeff wins, you're not exactly going to say Jeff Neal tied around 2026 starts.
Oh, sure. But you know he's capable of pulling off one of these.
It's like a Michael Johnson thing. Like, he can pull off a Dustin Poirier win and then lose to Renato Moicano the next week, you know? It's
But it's also one of those things where you look at level of competition, and Jeff Neal's been in the UFC for so long, and he's fought high-level guys. Uros Medic is yet to really be tested. I can't think of his fights right now off the rip, but you know, it's one of those things. We got the Vast Voyage coming in here with the Doctor by second round TKO. I mean, I hope it's going to be one of those bloody battles, because that's what it's set up to be, and you can only hope.
Actually, I wanted to mention this because I thought about it the other day, a little bit off topic, but Usman Nurmagomedov, where do you think he would rank in the lightweight rankings if he were to move to the UFC now? And who do you think
crazy fucking topic change?
No, because it is actually relevant. He's rumored to be getting signed soon, like one or two more fights, and he's definitely getting signed.
Well, there's been certain people online who say that he wouldn't even beat the unranked lightweights. That's how big the gap is between UFC and
Oaks was saying Benny Dariush finishes him in one. A lot of folks say then he only loses to Ilya and Arman and beats everyone else.
Listen, it's tough to say, bro, because, you know, we obviously had, like, recently we had Patchy Mix. You know what I mean? We recently had him, and Patchy had, like, he had god tier hype coming into them. Dude, I was believing I was gonna watch a gladiator come into the UFC.
Dude, the things he did to the other orgs outside the UFC will never be repaired, I swear. He came in, it's like, you used to look at the pound for pound lists, like that got ranked outside the UFC, including everything, and you always saw this random Patchy Mix oak up there. And you're like, who is this oak? First fight, who was it? Bautista?
Yeah, I think so.
Mario, didn't he finish oak as well?
No, he didn't finish him, but he was flat-footed the whole fight and just got he did nothing. He just stood and took. Yeah, he used his head to block punches. Yeah, but so I mean, that's the thing to say is Usman Nurmagomedov hasn't faced like really good competition if you think about it, and PFL fighters don't do well in the UFC. Don't give him anyone in the top
I feel
10.
like if he came into the UFC, a first good fight would be like a Dan Hooker or like a Moicano, just to test the waters, because we know the skills of those oaks.
Look at that. So Blue Sage saying Usman lost to Paul Hughes, wouldn't bet on him being a champ in the UFC. And then he goes, Usman won via Dubai. That is big time facts.
That is facts.
And that's the thing, like Paul Hughes is obviously really good, but I still think he would struggle against any top 10 lightweight. And I think Usman would struggle against most top 10 lightweights as well. So if he comes into the UFC,
dude, I feel like Benoit Saint Denis puts Nurmagomedov out. Like, that's a fight like that would be. I could see that happening. I don't think
you could, but it's, you know what the problem is, like, it's just so hard to say because you're always basing it off like previous UFC fights. You know what I mean? Like when a fighter fights, you kind of find their level But Usman, he has no level in the UFC. We don't know what he's capable of.
Undefeated.
Walk down easily.
Part of
Yeah,
Islam
sure,
and Umar's camp, obviously, those guys are fire. We know they.
Yeah.
Dude,
So
to use a
you
football
almost-
example, you can score a hat trick in Saudi, bro. It's not like
No, I know.
It's not big,
Hey,
big, like,
don't
man.
disrespect the big Ron, please.
Sure. I just think you can't. It's hard to like make a proper accurate prediction until they actually fight in the UFC.
Oh,
You need
yeah.
to see who they're fighting there at that level. Then you can be like, okay, well, he beat Hooker, so maybe you could do this. Or he beat Benny, or Benny probably, like you said, KOs him bro, easily. Okay,
Okay, so now I'm going to segue us back to UFC Houston before we get too carried away. So I want to touch on this comment, what Dadley said. Look, Neil's usually durable. His chin got cracked once against the hardest hit at 170 in Carlos Prates. Uros hits like a truck too, and most of his fights end super early. So what you need to know about Uros Medic is this guy, his fights they always end in a finish. Either he gets finished or he does the finishing. So I feel like this...
McKinney.
Yeah, pretty much like that sort of vibe. So I feel like this fight is not going the distance. I feel like it could be a banger. We've got a couple. We got a couple things people are saying here. Beneil Dariush against Usman. Throw him in there. I think Beneil is the one. He was booked against Islam twice before Islam was jammed. So you can see Uncle Benny against Malcolm Usman too.
Benny could definitely floor someone else, bro.
But now this fight, the next one on the main card that I am so excited for is Dan Ige against Malcuzio Costa. Jack Pace, Dariush is the shout. My guy. But what I want to say is Dan Ige against Malcuzio Costa. My goodness, that is insane. Like proper.
Give us a rundown.
Dude, let me tell you. Dan Ige is obviously a legend, 50K. We all know what he can do. But Malcuzio Costa is one of the best prospects in featherweight, in my opinion. He's got good grappling, good jiu-jitsu, and fantastic kicks. Dan Ige is insanely durable. Surely Unk is done. I don't know about that. We'll see. Robbie, I know you're going to dip soon, so let's hear your opinion on this, and then we can bid you farewell.
So on the Costa, sorry, I had
Costa versus Ige. Dan Ige against Malcuzio Costa.
Is this the guy with the pigmentation, eh?
Yes. The guy who's changed his pigmentation.
I do know this. Jeez, this fight, I probably would say this is probably going to be set to be the best fight on the main card. Like,
100%.
There's no ways this fight is not entertaining. Like Dan 50K Dynamite Ige is obviously, as we know, Alec doesn't fuck around. He's literally, I don't know how he hasn't been signed for bare knuckle yet. He's the most bare knuckle ridden coded fighter I've ever seen.
After this fight, he's going there.
Yeah, no. If he loses, he's sent him to McGregor's org. But honestly, Ezekiel, is he on a bit of a streak? He's
on a tear. He's on a tear, bro.
He
got a head kick KO in his last fight.
Like, I think that's the thing. A little bit similar to the Jeff Neal thing. Dan Ige is a bit of he's just there to make check oaks to make sure they're quality enough.
He's a gatekeeper, but he's a good gatekeeper.
No, yeah. I mean we saw him against Diego Lopez on 1 hour notice.
Literally.
Like gave Diego a fight. So we know he can throw, but also he has lost to bums like before. He's put in shit performances. So it all depends what kind of version of Dynamite we get. But I could see a world where he starches this oak, like puts him out on his back, and then Dan 50K Ige is like this to the crowd. He's like, come on. I can see it in Houston. He's got the home crowd advantage. I could lean towards Ige, but that's a heart pick, I think.
Yeah, that's got to be. Well, we'll see where you are with the main card picks when we drop them later this week.
Again.
No, that would be good. Toy, get your ass together, boy. You got some.
You're the only one without a win, bro. Just letting you know, okay?
Yeah, actually, and he calls himself a host.
But I'm solid. I'm solid. Bro. I ain't dropping no 3 out of 6s yet, Toy.
All right.
Those 50%ers, boy. But Robbie, we can bid you farewell. I know you got to go. Thanks for joining, as always. Hopefully, we'll see you at least one more time before the end of the year. That'd be good. There we go. And he's got it. Only took him 20 minutes, but he got there.
Yeah, Robbie, that was the most pathetic forfeit we've seen, I think. And that was live. That was live, bro. I saw that one, dude.
That's on record now.
That's on record.
I'm sorry. I knew. Because you gotta forgive me. I worked overnight, please.
Excuses.
Okay, well,
We'll see.
Safe though, brother.
Slopes, boys. So enjoy. Strickland by KO.
Alrighty, well, let's get back to business. We got Dudley here saying Malk is so underrated, getting his respect from the book this time out. And that's because he is a big favorite against Dan Ige, which I've got to agree with. I think Malk is a top prospect, and I've rated this guy for a long time. And his last fight, he got an insane head kick finish. And he's well-rounded, he's explosive, he's really good. And I think he'll be just too much for Dan Ige. We got Blue Sage saying here as well, Ige only loses to top contenders. So it's a perfect test for Costa to see how high level he is, which I absolutely agree with. You know,
so it's interesting because in my eyes, with this fight, I see Costa coming in with a lot of like pressure and coming in with a lot of speed. You know what I mean? He's going to be in Dan Ige's face. I think he's going to be looking to maybe not let Ige rip those like big nasty shots that he has. He doesn't want to let him have that KO chance. So I think he's going to be like kickboxing range. He's going to come in, come out. And try almost like overwhelm him a bit. But the big scary thing for Costa is crafty vet syndrome. You know, we have to see if can pull it off as a crafty vet does. And we'll see if maybe he gets like a nice read on Costa, hits him with that flash punch, and then it's tickets, bro. Good night to Costa and all the hype. But you know, it's interesting. Obviously Costa comes in, he's coming off that KO Dubsky, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he got a head kick. I can't actually remember who it was against, but he got a head kick KO, like a brutal one, which was quality to watch.
And then Dan Ige coming off that decision loss to Pitbull, right? Patricio Pitbull.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting. Maybe this is Dan Ige's bare knuckle boxing.
Charrier. There we go. Morgan Charrier. That's who Malcuzio Costa absolutely flatlined, and that's a good win against an explosive guy. So if he can pull that off against someone like Morgan Charrier, who is explosive and has that knockout power, who's to say he can't pull it off against Dan Ige? Like you said, though, crafty vet, that is something to always consider. But I just don't think Dan Ige is gonna have enough for Costa this time around. And I can't see Costa finishing him because Dan Ige is just so tough. He's a hard guy to finish. Hype into this line. I think it's too wide. Still have, I agree though. I think I'm not sure what it's sitting at now, but I originally saw Malcuzio Costa at like 3-1 favorite type of thing, which is a little bit disrespectful to an OG like Dan Ige. But at the same time, recency bias always plays in. Younger fighter, explosive guy, and I'm going with Costa. Last thoughts on this before we move on?
No, likewise, definitely going Costa. And I think we've covered it all. I think one maybe small comment I can make is, you know, you just talked about, I think 3-1 favorite, right? For
something
for
like that, yeah.
But still looking at that Ige betting line, like a little bit sketchy. You know what I mean? Like even though it's 3-1 favorite, 3-1 odds, I'm still probably favoring Costa. You know what I mean? If I were to bet on someone, even though it's nice like that. But yeah.
So next fight to move on to is Spivak, Sergey Spivak against Ante Delija. Obviously, Ante Delija, Tom Aspinall's friend, I think sparring partner. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure his last fight was the one where he got knocked out against
Waldo Cortez.
Waldo Cortez, and what was a somewhat controversial, thing with the eye poke and whatever. But in this one, I can't see Sergey Spivak pulling it off. Ante Delija, way too explosive, and Sergey Spivak is he's shocking. If he can't get his wrestling going, I think he's going to have nothing. Yeah, there you go. You got the vast voyage saying Delija second round TKO, Team Aspinall any day, and I have to agree. I mean, I have nothing really to say about Spivak besides the fact that he has wrestling, but it's not even that dominant.
No, I completely agree. Interesting fact about this fight: both fighters coming off a knockout or TKO, knockout/TKO loss. So it's pretty interesting like that. You know, seeing how both of these guys bounce back. But Besta, I think you've kind of nailed the nail. You've nailed the nail. You've hit the nail on the head. You've hit the nail on the head when you said that. I don't think Spivak's wrestling is gonna be enough of a problem to offset. I always forget how to pronounce his name properly.
Ante Delija, I think.
Elijah. I don't think it's going to be enough to put off Elijah. Yeah, CT inbound, exactly. Probably have Elijah by a little cheeky KO. Hey, I mean that's probably the safest, most sensical bet. And
round 1 or round 2, I reckon it's loading. It's loading.
You reckon it's gonna be a bit of a decimation, huh?
Yeah, dude, Spivak is shit, to be honest. Like, I just don't rate him at all.
I just really think it depends on how effective Spivak is with his wrestling. You know what I mean? If he can really make it so he has his way, get him on the floor, hold him there, make it a bit boring, which is probably what he's looking to do. You know, you don't really want to like stand and bang with someone who's probably going to knock you out, right? That's some generational advice there. But I reckon if you can get him to the floor, if you can hold him there, then maybe it's a win. But otherwise, I'm probably favoring the Elijah knockout.
Yeah, super bad. So wait, first we had the Vast Voyage talking about, I think first round Elijah might be gun shy with regards to how his previous fight ended. Yeah. Fair. Anyone coming off a knockout's probably gonna change it up. And then we got Dadley saying super bad beat for Ante's brothers. Absolutely marauds his way forward with reckless abandon. He's good on the ground too, and he beats Waldo if his fingers would tuck. Fair enough. I think it's going to be a bit of a shutout win for Spivak. Now, the next fight, I don't have much to say about because Jacoby Smith against, I don't even know his first name, Harold. So Jacoby Smith, 11-0. Harold is also, say that again?
It was Josiah Harold.
Josiah Harold. So they both 11-0. Harold is taking this on short notice. First MMA, his UFC debut coming from LFA. And he's coming up against Jacoby Smith, who is a really, really good fighter. In his last fight, if I'm not mistaken, he had a bit of a tough first round, but he came back in the second and he won with a good submission. Here now taking on Harold on short notice. Jacoby Smith has had his UFC debut. He's been under the bright lights. I think he wins this one. Not necessarily runs through Harold quick. There we go. We got Dadley saying Josiah Harold, former Dadley MMA underdog of the week. That was in his LFA fight, in his last LFA fight, if I remember correctly. So always some value on that, but short notice, first time under the bright lights. Who knows?
You get a highlight on that one, yeah, dude. Outrageous take here. Put the house on a draw / no contest.
Right, Jack. We'll see you in your house when you're homeless, buddy.
But yeah, I mean, it's a relatively interesting fight in that someone has to lose their zero, and for me, that's always an entertaining matchup. Even if the fight, like low-key, kind of ends up being boring, someone losing their zero is a big thing in the UFC world. You know, the whole vibe on hype and everything like that. You know, it's gonna be interesting. Obviously, like you said, Harold coming in short notice. Right?
Yeah.
I think you made a great point when you said about how they deal with the pressure. You know what I mean? Like it's a big lights kind of moment. You know, can Harold pull it off? Short notice debut. We've seen it happen before, though. You know, we've seen it like where they just get like so hyped off it, they get so locked in off this like short notice debut that they just decimate their opponent, and everyone's like, "Whoa, what's happening here?" But at the same time, like you could really see him crumble and like just falter under the lights.
Yeah, and here we go. If he doesn't finish it in the first or second. So this is obviously, so now saying if Jacoby Smith doesn't finish in the first or second, he's got Harold round 3 or decision. And here's the thing, you know, the last time I think about someone who came in on short notice and absolutely shocked the world was Ethan Ewing coming up against Malcolm Wallmaker, where everyone thought Wallmaker was going to just finish him in the first round. And Ethan Ewing just put on an absolute clinic. So you never know. Could be one of those days. I still am going to side with Jacoby Smith, as I assume you will as well. Yeah. And so we'll move on to the last one, so we can keep it short and sweet for this, what has been a fun episode, to say the least. But our final fight is Zach Reese against Michel Pereira. And I've got to say, Michel Pereira was known as this wacky, fun, explosive guy and whatever. And his last few fights, he has looked absolutely shocking, to be honest. I can't quite remember all of them, but I think there was a loss against Abus Magomedov, which he just looked absolutely pathetic in. And I just can't back him against someone like Zach Reese, who unfortunately had his last fight. He kicked Cedric Dumas in the nuts, and it went to a no contest. but he got a knockout win or sub win after that.
Yeah.
Dadley's gone here underdog of the week, and I'm not sure if that's on Zach Reese or Michel Pereira because I'm not 100% sure who the underdog is.
I can say that you are definitely right with Pereira. He's sort of just like kind of lost that spark that he once had, or maybe he's even just lost that flair that he once had. You know, and like he was always seen as so unpredictable, and now it's gotten to the point where it's predictable that he's going to be unpredictable. You know what I mean? Like fighters are knowing that he could just pull some crazy shit off. You know, he's going to go for like some wild cuck. And in that sense, when you know it's coming, you can prepare for it. And I think that I'm pretty sure Pereira is coming off a couple losses, right? He's not doing too hot right now. So it does feel, you know, like what I find with the UFC is like, we have Pereira, who's like kind of become a bit of like a cult name to the people who know him better, right? So guys like you and me and everyone in the chat, we all know Pereira. We all know this flashy guy. So it's like it's beneficial for the UFC to almost like feed him to a guy, to like almost kind of like an up and coming guy in Zach Reese. You know, because it's a nice win to have. It's a name to have. Like you see Pereira under Reese's like win column. You're like, oh, okay, I know that guy. You know what I mean? And like to me, it's feeling like that kind of situation where Pereira is kind of just being sacrificed a bit to build on Reese's hype.
So I did check, and it is underdog of the week. It is Zach Reese. He is the underdog, and
okay, well there we go.
I've got to agree there. Like I think he might make light work of Michel Pereira. Zach Reese has got knockout power and he's got good submissions. And if Michel Pereira comes out like he has been in his last few fights, I think he's going to be made light work of, to be honest. Zach Reese is a really good fighter and he's a hot prospect. You know, there's just not much else to really say, to be honest. I think he is just, he's quality. And I think he's the hungrier guy. He'll be the faster guy. And I think he'll get this one done by finish, by KO, TKO, or sub. I reckon that's, if I had to put a bet on something like that, I'd put it on him to win by finish.
And you know, I think that's like the perfect like wrap up for this card, because this card's cool. It's got a couple cool names on it, but I wouldn't say it's like the most interesting thing. But here's a question to you, Bester, or question for you, Bester. I've been seeing a lot of this one particular fighter's name, or we can address this quickly. They tried to retire him with Carl Dorcas. I think Zach Reese is Carl Dorcas more. Yeah.
So Carl Dorcas wasn't supposed to be that good. Like he was returning to the UFC and then he knocked out Pereira. I think that's what happened. And yeah, so I just see a similar route going down here. But yeah, what you were saying.
So there's one fighter I've been seeing in the headlines a bit recently, and I'm very interested to hear your opinion on this. What is happening with Tom Aspinall? Hey, what are we seeing here? I'm seeing rumors that he's done with the UFC. He's said that he wants to vacate his title. He wants to go to boxing. But then on the other hand, I'm seeing shit that no, Aspinall's staying in the UFC. This is all bullshit. And it's a bit confusing for me because I'm like, wow, what is happening right now? So what are your thoughts and opinions on the Aspinall situation?
Well,
which, dude, I just say one last thing. It's becoming a bit of a consistent thing in the heavyweight division, hey? It's always like there's always just controversy surrounding Aspinall's name. That's almost his legacy in the UFC at this point. It's just like there's always a situation with him. But anyways, tell me.
Dude, I think like Dadley says here, he's still champ. You know, he is still champ. But what is going on, you know, because there's so much fake news and there's so many rumors, and realistically, we don't know what's going on until the UFC or trusted sources confirm it. But bottom line is he got poked real bad in both eyes. One worse than the other, but I still think he was affected in both. And he had surgery on both. And the eyeballs is not someone to play around with. And you need vision when you're fighting in the octagon. You need, you know, it's pretty fucking important, I'd say. So I think he's maybe a bit pissed off that he's not back at fighting, you know, and things like that, but it is what it is. But at the same time, I don't really get why he's just moaning and complaining. Like if you're discussing going to boxing and things like that, just do it. Vacate your title and piss off. Like, I don't want to get angry or upset at Aspinall, but the reality is you're going to start doing what John Jones did and what you got so angry at and holding up the division, you know. Either you say, I'm going to be back in a year. Here's my title, fight for it, and I'll be back when I'm back. Or you say, here's my title, I'm pissing off to boxing and doing that. And you just make up your mind, because at the moment there's too much misinformation. We don't know what's going on. And it's actually making him lose fans. People are getting pissed off at him. That's what my take is. Just pick a decision, make a decision.
So for me personally, like, I will say that I don't know if that's there's too much for Tom. I feel bad for the lad, but can't wait to see him beat these fucks soon. Yeah, very true, very honest. But what I said with Aspinall potentially going to boxing, it wasn't a direct quote. I think it was like rumors. Yeah, there we go.
Just read this, dude. Sorry, that just made me laugh.
but okay. An interesting thing I will also bring up is that the Peter Yan, Aljamain Sterling first fight, right? Where Peter Yan obviously threw that illegal knee on Aljo which like caused him to be unable to finish the fight, which led to Aljo winning the belt, right? Are we not seeing like a kind of similar situation where, rather a completely different situation where Peter Yan was like penalized very heavily for that illegal strike that he threw, and Cyril Gane threw a highly illegal strike in the sense of you can't eye poke someone, and now that we see a UFC fighter who has received like sustainable damage. This is it's to the point where like, okay, this could be just like rumors and bullshit, but apparently like Aspinall was missing handshakes with people at this point in time. You know what I mean? Like this, you can't do that. No repercussions for Gane. Nothing. Dude, not even a slap on the wrist. It was kind of like
they're going to just give him a title shot again. If Aspinall doesn't come back, they'll just book Gane against Pereira or whatever for the heavyweight. He's not getting penalized at all. I agree with you. It's like, what's going on?
It's a bit crazy, isn't it? So maybe I'm calling for something to happen to Gane. I mean, this is more brutal than what we saw that Peter Yan Aljo Sterling fight, because Aljo was fine in like a month or two. Aspinall is still feeling the repercussions. He might not be able to fight again. There was a rumor that he's going to vacate, because of this. I just find it a bit crazy that there's no penalty on Gane.
Yeah, and you look at this as well. Tom's dad shouldn't have said they're planning to go boxing on camera. Hide that, Dana, how Dana is. And in fact, Dana is so egotistical. And the second someone sort of tunes his organization, he punishes them. You see what they did to MVP. He spoke out about the matchmaking. He's now fighting unranked Sam Patterson. It's just what happens. The French market has Hunter Campbell by the balls, and Gane's highlights are him hitting people at the back of the head. And that's the thing, dude. How is Cyril Gane not getting punished for that? Like he said, it's a bit ridiculous. So much misinformation. I just want to know, is Aspinall off for a while? Is he coming back?
A potential thing to say to that, and that, dude, the heavyweight division is just so fucking boring. If you actually penalize Gane and you say you cut him from the UFC or you suspend him, dude, what does that division do now? Because now Aspinall's out and Gane's out. That division is literally completely dead in the water. And I think that's probably why, the French market, I definitely agree with. Like, I mean, the UFC has seemingly been loving that French card, but I think if you get rid of Gane, like, that division is just fucked, bro. And I think that's why they potentially just like, it's fine, it happens, shit happens, I put someone I can't see anymore. It's like, it's whatever.
Shit happens. But I mean, snooze fest, that division. And absolutely. I made a video on it today. There's a lot of contenders up and coming that I think could rescue us, could save the division a little bit, but they've got to bide their time. They've got to fight contenders. They've got to fight each other at some stage, probably, to get up there. The reality is the heavyweight division is a good year or two from maybe getting back to a good status. But for the time being, it's an absolute shambles. Gane literally beats Spivak with a groin shot followed by back of the head. He's been doing this for years. And absolutely. And there's highlights people have found and people have made of Gane and all his illegal shit. Why has he not been punished? I guess we'll never know. But I'm excited.
It's tough for me because I've been a bit of a Gane fan for a while. I mean, like, you don't typically see like the super technical kickboxer like him in the heavyweight division, right? Like someone who's like so like fast and he like finds these angles, he's in and he's out, he's throwing these kicks and stuff. So like from that point of view, it was cool to see like this like X Factor guy in the heavyweight division. But there's just like so much shit that he does, and it's just like, bro, like I can't like root for you anymore. You know what I mean? Like you fuck up Aspinall's eye. I can't remember. I know that I remember the back of the headshots, but I can't remember who it was. But like there was it might have been Tai Tuivasa, or maybe I'm speaking shit. But he's just always doing this illegal shit, and it's like, bro, like come on, like it just makes me not like you. It makes me not want to support you, and it makes me want to see you get like cut or. Another thing to even talk about, bro. Hey,
yeah. Well, we'll get. It was Ty, as Dali said there. Yeah, and it was when he had him hurt. But anyways, we're back this weekend. UFC Houston. I'm excited. I always hate a little 1 week break with the UFC, but we are back. It's an interesting card. Some fights that are maybe not looking to be the most exciting, but as always, it could deliver a spectacle. It could deliver sick finishes. Most hype fight I'm looking forward to has got to be Dan Ige against Marcos Costa. And definitely. I'm excited. We'll be back next week, Monday, breaking it down, talking about what happened. Hopefully we can try spice things up again, like we did with this introduction to the podcast, hook people's attention. But that was lekker, and yeah, nice to have you back, Cam. Nice to be back in the hot seat again and chatting. And to all the viewers that tuned in, appreciate you guys as always getting here in the comments. Good to see some new faces and some former faces as always. And yeah.
Shout out to everyone. And always, you know what? It has to be said at this point. Shout out to Blue Sage MMA and shout out to Jack Pace 5803. Okay. You guys, day one live stream viewers. And it's always just lovely having you guys here. We really appreciate seeing your opinions. It makes it so much fun for us.
Yeah, and to Dadley and Vast Voyage for jumping in for the first time. It's great to have you guys here. Thank you for the support. And to all the others that were here throughout. We appreciate it. We're just a couple of gents messing around, having fun, and we love it when people can get involved as well and enjoy the stream. So thanks for coming. We'll see you next week, Monday, with another fantastic stream.
Thanks, guys. Fucking love having you guys here.